All right, we are live. Hopefully, round two. Hopefully, somebody will pop in and we'll solve this issue. My tower has died on me, so I've had some problems with this silly laptop. And cheers to everybody. My silly laptop's normally pretty great, and tonight it's kind of like, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. So if you were in the last chat, sorry. Sorry, RT for life. I apologize about the last one. Some technical difficulties, and we will solve these, right? Right? We will get better. We will get better at this. You know, it's number 6, so you'd think I'd have this down by now. See if we can get a few people popping in. Hopefully you guys have an awesome Sunday. I'm having an exhausting Sunday. I've been besides traveling this week, I've went down to yes, shit does happen. What's up, Alien? But let's see, I traveled Friday all day to get to Z1, and then today, then Ronald, you crazy dude. I appreciate that. But I traveled, and yesterday, I don't remember what happened yesterday. We did stuff, family stuff, I'm sure. But then, Danny! But then today has been hell. Like, softball, like I manage a school softball field, an elementary school softball field, and they've let it run ragged. And not that you guys care. And I've worked my butt off there today. And then, then I coach softball as well. So let's see. What you guys are going crazy all of a sudden. Oh, your retrofits need rewired. That's a bummer. Doug Root, Danny's in the house. Wish Danny, I got it. We're going to get it where you can pop in here and we can all talk with Dan. Ellen Workshop, I need a blue wrench. I need to keep getting banned from YouTube for fighting. Cheers to fighting the government. Let's see. Take your guns. Oh man, you can see we've added a little bit of color in the background. I've got some lights up there. I need to get an extension cable for. I'm going to make this all kind of fancy eventually. Got some new things in here. Hey, cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you, and cheers to Ronald for constantly being the super chat guy. I appreciate that. I've been very surprised, honestly. I've been very surprised how YouTube is the monetizations went. We were monetized a long time ago. They changed the program on us from 100 to 1,000 subs, and we didn't pay this much attention, but we're having fun now. Danny, hopefully you guys like Danny's content he's been bringing, man. Like the SAS truck with Cody that he did. That was really good content. I know he's got some more stuff. He's got some interviews popping up maybe this week. I don't know if Danny has time, but hopefully you guys like what we're trying to diversify our content a little bit, which is one part of why we went down to Z1. Spencer and those guys, man, were awesome hosts. I can't say enough about Z1. Z1 was nothing like I thought it would be. And for those that might have, seen their shop, I expected a nice shop. Don't get me wrong, but I posted earlier, it's like a mini Amazon. Like, dude, they get their orders. The way they walked me around and showed me the process, like they get their orders, and Alien, do not worry about it, man. There is no requirements to be in these chats that you have to help fund it. But so they get the order, it prints out, it's double checked, and then it goes to their parts pickers, and they have literally the little scanners you'd see at Amazon. They're going through bins, pulling parts and stuff, and it's like almost damn near same day service. I think Spencer said it was same day service, but I was very impressed to how they handle parts and the amount of parts they have, man. Just from OEM alone is probably more than a lot of Nissan dealerships have. And the used parts, of course, I went into this pretty dumb about Z1, and like they have a ton of used Z parts. Like I went into the back, man. They have doors, you name it. If you need Z's parts, they have them. And I think I've seen probably 30 Z's at their fence that they just are parted out, ready to, if you need a new part for your Z or something like that. Ronald, you crazy, dude. Crazy, sir. I appreciate that. But they are getting into the truck game, man. And with what I know of them as they've done with the car game, like they've changed it for the Nissan aftermarket world for Z's. They're going to change it for trucks. They've already got a website up, z1offroad.com. Check that thing out because it is pretty impressive. And I'm not being paid to say any of this, by the way. This is just my impressions after meeting those guys. Ronald, you got any questions? You deserve to get those questions answered, sir. But so Z1, they're already starting their shelves for starting to get truck parts in, man. So they're doing, I know the Titan guys, you want those new 2020 Titan Flytrap. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. But they, I know the older Nissan or the Gen 2 Nissan guys, they want those new headlights and taillights in their trucks. Guess what? Z1 has them for sale already, man. So now I will say this, they're not cheap, but you know why, like, these parts aren't cheap, right? It's because insurance generally is the reason, you know, Nissan sells parts like that, and insurance is going to pay out the butt for these parts. So if you want any of the OEM stuff like that, you're going to sadly pay for it too. Let's see. Alien. So anyways, what is going on tonight, guys? If you have questions about Z1, man, I will be happy to answer it. If you watched our latest video that I dropped on it, dude, those guys are, they're car people, and they all had trucks too. I'm not gonna lie, there was trucks everywhere out there. It was pretty impressive. I believe his name was John, their main tuner guy. He's a Titan guy. I think he said he had a 0506 Titan, and they like working on those, man. And they were bugging me about getting the 2021 because they were itching to they're wanting to build a Frontier. So, but just because they're into speed, man, doesn't mean they're not going to know exactly about anything else. What's up, Agent? Flytrap. Z1 Motorsports is the car side, and Z1offroad.com is the truck side. Their website's already got a bunch of stuff on it for the truck side too. And this isn't exactly new. If you've seen these guys, they bring it, man. Like I think the Z1's fleet of Z's was nuts. I think they had 20 Z's sitting there that they're shop cars that they're always tinkering with. They're doing on. They had a Q60 that we took out with that 3-liter turbo that they had hopped up the turbo in it. And dude, that was nuts. Of course, they're automatics. And then they've taken a 350Z and dropped that 3-liter turbo into a Z with a 6-speed transmission. And that's the one you see me drifting around with Spencer in. And we put my son in that car, and it was nuts. Like he's never been anything powerful like that. I mean, he's been in my G35 that I had, but now that he's a driver, like he's never got to experience like power. I think the 1Z, the white one that we were in, was nearly 500 horsepower, and it was detuned a lot, from my understanding. Their showroom was nuts. Lots of 300Zs. There's a red 300Z that's my favorite by far. The 300 ZXs were. I love those cars. So let's see, Danny, what was my favorite car at Z1? Well, there was two. Clearly, we saw the Nissan Warrior concept, the Titan Warrior concept. That thing was awesome, and it was really awesome that I got to get in the vehicle and just enjoy it a little bit, sit in the seats, and obviously you can't tweak every button and take it for a ride, but because the thing will barely turn. I will say that they have the turning radius on it is they've taken the little nuts on the turning radius and pushed them so far out because it's sitting on 37s, and it's a showpiece. It's a concept truck, and the fenders. When you see the fenders, you can look on the inside and you can tell they were foam cut. So it is a concept truck, but it was damn near ready for market concept truck. But so they have it where it can't turn too much because they don't want to, any of those big MTs cutting into the fender flares or anything. Let's see. So there was the Titan Warrior, Danny, was my favorite, and the red 300Z that you see in the video was probably my favorite. Now, don't get me wrong, the 370s we were tinkering around in. I love those, and they were fun. But I've just always been that classic 90Z was just like, to me, it was like what a sports car should look like. The interiors of them, Spencer was talking about the interiors of part of the reason why that Z was so expensive in the 90s was because everything was high end, from the interiors and everything. They really went out, out of their way with it, which is why that the 350Zs, they went a little plastic with it because they wanted to sell some more cars. Brian Turnquist, cheers, sir. I owe a shot train to these guys. My buddies, we have a little shot train group, and I'm not shooting. I'm just sipping on a Jack Daniels tonight, but that was for Ryan Miller and Brian. Let's see. The Infinity I was in, Danny, it was 17, I believe. Q60 thing was clean. They lowered it. I believe it was the owner's wife's car, and it was nuts, man. It shot flames. I didn't get any of it on video, but it would shoot flames. It was really cool. They have, I believe, 2 dynos in this shop. They have one for all-wheel drive, and they have one for obviously just rear-wheel drive. And they were itching to get my son's Sentra in this thing, which was funny because they were bugging me to bring Kelly's Xterra down, and they wanted I think they wanted to kind of see what off-road guys do with them, and how we mod them. But he's like, let's get your son's car on there, and I was like, oh man, I would, but that's the last thing I need to do is start tinkering with his computer, and then all of a sudden he's, his 120 horsepower Nissan's up to 130, and then he wouldn't know what to do with the extra 10 horsepower. Let's see. Nice, man. I really that 300 is by far my favorite, man. I like sleeper cars, and of course y'all's Infinity down there is something like that. But the red it looks like it's dropped just a little bit, but everything about it is kind of sleeper. It just looks like a factory Z that's been converted it's an NA that was converted to turbo, and it's badass. I forget how many horsepower you guys said it had, but it's badass. And me and Danny, we were invited in June to come down to one of their track days. So I'm trying to coax Danny out here with these super chats that y'all are giving me. It's going to help Danny make his way out here. We'll be able to afford his plane ticket to get him out here. Let's see. Need to have your R51 tuned. Z1 can do it. They do mobile tuning too. So if you've got somebody that's you have a shop that will do it, they can do email tunes and sit there and work it out for you in that shop. So be sure to check these guys out, man. I mean, clearly I have a shirt. This right here is like says, hey, they're all right? You get a free t-shirt when you show up, right? But really, those Spencer and the guys down there were awesome. I really did have a great time down there. And once again, we walked. So you guys have seen the Time Attack car that they built for SEMA. That was sitting in there. They had it up on a lift, and they were getting ready for the Time Attack season. That thing is wicked. The cage in that thing is amazing. I can't say enough. They had customer Z's in there, man. They do full blown, like, you got a Z and you want the best in the business to tinker with it. Take it to Z1, man. I cannot say enough about those guys. Let's see. James, does my local dealership have a 2020 Titan in yet? James, I will not deal with my local dealership. So if I drive by there, I make it a point to basically give them a bird and not look that way. I can't tell you if they do or not. I would say they do. Most dealers are getting one. They're getting one right now. That's how that works. They start getting, every dealer that orders them, they get one. And then they'll start, once every dealer sort of gets their one in, then they'll start trickling 2 and 3 at a time in. The beige has been out there like crazy. Most dealers that I do see have the beige with the rack in the back, which I personally cannot stand. It's goofy. I don't like it. And probably for the upcharge, it's well not worth it in my opinion. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? We got 18 in here tonight, guys. Awesome, man. I think the record's 20. So we need to, if you share this link, guys, if you will share it, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Let me go through this, make sure I didn't miss any questions. Flytrap, hopefully you got that. It's Z1 Motorsports or Z1 Offroad.com. Danny, I answered your favorite question. Yes, Danny, I would like to do some track time. They have a car, I guess they were throwing everybody in when they do some of their track times, and the transmission's out of it, my understanding. But these guys, I think if they want something fixed, they have the resources to do it, which I have to say, too, cheers. The resources these guys have to jump into the truck market is impressive. I know they're about to do a big addition to their building. I got to see the plans on that, and it's gonna be pretty epic, man. And these guys started in a barn. That's what trips me out is if you know any of their history, these guys started in basically a chicken coop, and they worked their way, and then the barn caught fire and burnt down a bunch of Z's, and then they just kept plugging away, man, and just selling used parts and got into OEM and now aftermarket. And they actually build their own or aftermarket parts too. I mean, they'll do SPC stuff, control arms, whatever, but they're building parts. And we were talking about how they cast some parts and how expensive casting is, but it's worth it in the long run. So let's see, what else did I miss? Nissan does need to go back to their heritage, Alien. I agree. They and I think part of their new ad campaign that you're going to see sometime this spring is that they're supposed to be preaching heritage. So that is actually a problem. Has anyone seen or heard of failures with the CSF radiators? I have not heard of any failures. I know some guys that are doing the V8 conversion in the trucks that are still having some temperature issues, but I think it's due to some not using the right fan to pull the air in. I don't know anything about any failures. Every manufacturer is going to have a failure at some point, though. Nissan needs to get serious again. They do need to get serious again. Let's see. I think, Alien, I think you keep preaching this, that Nissan is better off on their own. Yes, I agree. They do not need the French influence. Unfortunately, they're 10 years of tech tied to them right now as far as like future products. So even if today they decided they're breaking away and buying their shares back from Renault, it still has a long lasting effect on whether they can actually get out of there or not. Let's see. Danny says he thought he saw somebody having problems with the radiator, but he cannot remember where. Once again, everything I know about the CFF radiators, they're pretty solid, but once again, there's always that gremlin. There's always that one that, my luck is I always get that problem piece. So it's kind of my luck. If you guys didn't know, go to Groot X here on YouTube after you watch this video and check out Danny. Danny's about to drop some King of the Hammers content. And of course, you've seen with his interview with Cody there and his SAS Xterra. Danny's got some content he's going to drop there. He's got some content, I know, for his Rogue Overland trip that he went on. There's some interviews from that he is going to drop on our channel. But Danny was doing stand-up last night. And Danny is a funny dude no matter what. If you guys ever get a chance to see me or Danny, like, you want to meet Action Suit Groot, that's for damn sure. But go watch his stand-up. I was quite impressed. It's very milky content. Let's see. What is the next auto show we are going to? As of right now, it would be the Detroit Auto Show, but that's a tough one to get in as press. I mean, it's like it's the upper crust only generally who they allow into that show. So I'm trying to get into that one. I may have to just go as a civilian like you guys and tackle that. But I know Nissan. I was told Nissan was releasing something in New York. And the best I can figure is New York is generally a car heavy auto show. And the only thing I can think of is it would be a Rogue. And I know Rogue is their test mules are out there now. So generally the plant in Smyrna that builds Rogue shuts down they do two shutdowns. They'll shut down in around the 4th of July. That's usually when they'll do changeover, or they'll do changeover in August. And I would say that the Rogue is ready. It's ready to go. Everything I know about the underpinning of that, nothing's really changing. It's getting a new facelift, body, interior, stuff like that. All the new goodies. It already has most of the safety features, but I think it'll be updated in that Rogue. So if you do need a Rogue, there you go. Let's see, Nick. Or find out, does anybody make a push start for the Gen 1? I would think you could adapt you can buy the push. I mean, you can buy aftermarket push button starts. So I don't think that's a problem. I think obviously you'd need a fob that works with it. And I've seen people make you can get like the Gen 2 Titan, the little fobs. It's pretty much they use in Nissan altogether. But I've seen where they've put those in some cars and stuff. But how they've done it, I do not know at the moment. Let's see. Are you guys going to Gone Moab? I am pro R51 on IG, and you've got your trip booked. Cooper Concepts, is this your first Gone Moab? And I believe Danny will be there. I'm traveling a lot this year, so for the podcast in general, I would like to honestly make it out for at least a day. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would like to make it out for basically raffle night if I can go. So I would fly in that Thursday, hang out Friday, and probably leave Saturday morning. Oh yeah, I know who Cooper Concepts is. Yeah, dude, you got a badass. Let's not fool anybody around. You've got a badass Pathfinder. You're good. You're a good dude, sir. But yeah, Moab is special, and I just did an interview with Leland Merrill, who's running Moab now, and that's going to drop this week. So I do have an audio interview going to drop. And it's good. It's 45 minutes or so. It's a good interview. I was very impressed with Leland and his plans for Moab. Me and Danny have always said we would not support Gone Moab anymore till new leadership due to some snake in the grass they had running things and embezzling lots of money. But he dropped it in December. He was trying to shut it all down, like hide everything. They erased the website, and dude was trash. And literally Leland stepped up and said, "Hey man, let me, you don't want any part of it." I guess he got all the money he could out of it. And my understanding, he took about $17,000 from that, but he took it last minute. Even the Facebook page was scheduled to be deleted, and he got into it and saved all that. And just last minute, I know Leland spent a ton of his own money to keep the event going. And so it definitely, Gone Moab deserves some support this year. I think attendance might be down slightly, but some of the old school guys, they're going to be iffy. I get it. You know, you got new leadership coming in, and but Moab is Moab no matter what. And the people you meet in Moab they're awesome people. So like Danny said, I think Danny will be there. RT for life. You have a ticket, but your situation has changed. What does that exactly mean? Hopefully it's a good situation. I mean, I probably sucks that you had to change it, but you know, let's see. You know, like Danny said, he's working on making it out. Let's see. Did I miss anything else upstairs? Radiators. No. So far, back injury. That's no good, man. RRT for life. You should be able to transfer that ticket to somebody if you'll reach out to Moab, and you may have already, but if you'll reach out to those guys, I bet they can find somebody that needs a ticket, and y'all work it out however you work it out. But I would hit up Leland or can't think of the other two guys that are helping run it. But on their Facebook page, I would just reach out to them. I bet money that they can help you out. Let's see. I hope to make Went this year and Gone next year. Well, good thing it's Went this year, because there may not be a number 11. I'm on the fence about doing another one, man. I've done it for 10 years, or this will be 10 years, and I need a break, honest to God. Between the podcast and my own event, that's about all we think about a lot of times, and planning on that. And right now we're trying to have Went kick off at Nissan HQ in Franklin, Tennessee, and Nissan's kind of being a pain about it, the best I can say. I had plans to do it, and then with all the layoffs and stuff they're doing, I lost one of my key contacts over there. So anyways, let's see. Stay hopeful, man. Good thing is, dude, if you sell your ticket now and get your money back, I know that it may cost you. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they do their late registrations. But I'm not saying Went is definitely not going to come back. But I'm just saying I've been looking for somebody as a Band-Aid basically for next year to kind of help run it a little bit. Oh, thank you, Ronald. It is good advertising. Dude, their logo. So obviously this is their main logo. I love their sort of Godzilla-y logo, and they put it on everything, and they've got stickers. You might be able to order them on their website. I think I put them all on everything. But I did get this from them. This was really cool. Everybody needs a cool mouse pad, right? But is that badass or what? I love that. They have all kinds of mouse pads and stuff, man. These guys, like, I'm telling you, they know their market. But yeah, so the little Godzilla-y, I don't know what you'd call him exactly. It's sort of Godzilla-y. I said, what's the meaning behind that? How did you guys come up with that? I just love it, man. It's kind of anime fun, I don't know. And he said that one of their customers asked him to draw something funny on one of the boxes in the comments when they ordered something. So somebody drew something similar to that, and it just somehow stuck, and it's now kind of their little mascot. But let's see, you can see the back of the shirt. Let's see, you got Z's everywhere, man. But they may offer these on their website. I hate to say that I'm a bad rep of them, but I'd have to look, honestly. And I'm a good half a drink in right now. Let's see. Zeno. Okay, there we go. I knew one of my Z1 guys would pop in and say it. But back to Z1 a little bit. I know this sounds like an advertisement for them, but I literally was like blown away by the way they operate in their shop, man. And hell, they have a 18-wheeler in the back, man, that they just picked up to do a lot of events and stuff, and some stuff they might want to do out in the West Coast. Really impressive. Like, everybody I met there, just from the basic guy in shipping, they're all super nice people and just very, very impressive, man. So at least go check out their website. Show them some love that way. If you haven't yet, go to their social medias, show them some love that way. You'd be surprised, like, just what a like can do for companies. It helps in this day and age. It just shows that, hey, we have a lot of supporters. So they have a really good YouTube page too. I was watching some of that today. Got to make Spencer happy. I was watching his interview from a couple of years ago. That was kind of funny. But anyways, let's see. Any other questions tonight? We're like 27 minutes in, guys. I feel like I've rambled. And speaking of, if you've made it 27 minutes into this, I seen a comment the other day where somebody was whining, all he does is just ramble and those things. And it's like, well, yeah, it's a live chat for one. There's no program of here's how it goes tonight. It's just how you guys are kind of the captains of this, and I answer questions and we just talk cars. But I apologize if I sound rambly. There's nobody else here to kind of, take the load off every once in a while. Kelly's, I said, hey, Kelly, you want to come in for a chat tonight? She's like, no. I preached this the last time. We've got some new content coming on the Titan. The Titan is due April 1st. It's gone. It'll be gone actually before that. But the 17 Titan is moving on to a new home, and I've got to turn that in, and it's got to go through inspections, which really scare me because if you watch the first Titan video I did, you'll see all the little chips and crap from the thin paint that's on that poor truck, and I'm going to get dinged for that somehow. It'll be my fault somehow, even though if you get on the internet, you can see where everybody does it. We've got a special guest calling in. Let's see. Young Daniel Groders, what is up, buddy?
Hey, buddy. I just saw that you were doing some live chat, and I figured maybe I'd call and hop in here.
Well, call away, sir. Anytime. You're always welcome to chat on our live chat, sir. So hopefully you guys can hear Danny okay.
Yeah, if I'm half the greatness, I got to be half time on the show, right?
Of course, man. I think you're more like 3/4 of the greatness. I'm trying to get the phone up closer to the mic. Hopefully you guys can hear Danny all right. So, Danny, what is going on in your world, buddy?
Not too much, man. Running around doing, I think you mentioned earlier, I did a little comedy last night, which was a lot of fun. Did a little stand-up set, did some improv stuff as well afterwards, so that was a good time. And, just doing some cataloging of racetrack parts today.
Right.
I'm trying to get the last couple pieces so I can start taking the next big step on the racetrack.
Let me answer a question real quick. So Cooper Concepts, when does Went registration open? It actually should have been opened already, but between the hiccup with Nissan right now, it probably won't be till the end of March. We're gonna say safely March, end of March, somewhere there. And of course, I'll make the podcast. We run that thing. We're gonna make lots of announcements about it. But back to Danny here. So Danny, you did a live chat the other day, man.
Yeah, I did a little live chat yesterday. Did a little walk around on the racetrack, showing off some of the parts. I know a lot of stuff doesn't get quite the time it might need to on the channel as far as what you're looking at and what I've done up to this point.
Right.
And I got a lot of build on it, but the earlier videos weren't exactly the best.
Right.
as my YouTubing's got better and better.
If you guys can hear Danny, we need some thumbs up or however it works, or super chats work great for that. I kid. I'm just kidding. But hopefully you guys can hear Danny okay. But yeah, Danny, you were on your own channel, DeGroot X, yesterday doing some live chats about the racetracks. What is it going to get? What do we got to do to get you on a live chat for the podcast channel? I know the people would love a taste of Action Suit.
Well, maybe next Sunday evening, maybe I'll hop in and start a live chat, and we can do a little bit more race truck stuff. I know a lot of the guys like that, and then I got one of the cool things that I showed off on my live chat with the new Switch Pros wiring. Those were
really cool, man.
Dude, that thing is so nice. It's all billet. It's so cool. It's got a great colored instructions, and the wires are all put together perfectly. Everything's water sealed and stuff like that. So it's a really, really cool unit. I'm looking forward to putting it in. I got to pick up some batteries this week and stuff. So
hopefully, can you guys hear Danny okay? Please type in the comments below. I want to make sure that I'm just not all you hear is. But yeah, Danny, I liked your video, man. It was nice. Of course, I was bugging you because I wanted to see that suspension, because that BTF Fab suspension is just amazing in that truck, man.
Yeah, they put together a really amazing kit. So I'm looking forward to it, probably more than you, to go.
Well, I can only imagine.
In real life, but I will say enough about my truck. You can go watch my YouTube if you want to learn more about that. I'm curious. What are we going to be doing at Road Atlanta?
Well, that's a good question, and we would need Spencer on the line to talk about that. Sorry, they were asking to get you a little closer to the mic. I know this is great. This is great live video. But so I know it's in June, Danny, and I think we can. I think we'll have enough money to fly you out here, dude. And I think the fun plan would be is to fly you to Nashville, and me and you just road trip down to Atlanta.
Yeah, maybe we can buy a $500 vehicle and turn it into a track car.
Yeah, Spencer. Do you know any $500 Z's that me and Danny can turn into a junker?
Listen, it doesn't have to be a Z. We can turn anything into I can turn anything into a race car.
Any
zip ties.
That's right, man. Zip ties fix everything, right?
All you need to do is weight reduction, tires, zip ties. And you're good to go. I watch Roadkill.
Well, see, what Danny doesn't understand here on the East Coast is Danny's always bugging me, hey, man, find me a $500 Nissan four-wheel drive that I can take to Went and just go beat up and then just basically leave on the side of the road. And I'm like, I don't know how California does it, but we value our vehicles out here, I guess, a little more than they do on the West Coast. So they're a little hard to find, Danny, but I will keep an eye out for us.
Well, I do think that the best, as far as Went is concerned, I think the best way to go would be a Pathfinder.
Yes.
You can find Pathfinders for really inexpensive. I've been keeping my eye open all the time for them, and they pop up all the time. Just timing stuff hasn't worked for me.
Right.
But, that would be a good one. But I think if we could find a little Sentra or something like that, we could race that thing, Road Atlanta. Here we go.
Oh yeah, the old B13 would be really fun, man. That early 90s
that'd be
one.
A lot of fun.
I'm actually, to be honest, I've been looking for new G35 or a 350Z, especially after you go down to Z1, man, and all of a sudden you're just like, I need one of these. I need the power.
Oh, I get it. I understand that. I think you got a very slight touch of the bug when you went down there, and I'm totally okay with that.
So, Agent Hutchings, which is part of Z1, they've been watching your truck, and he says he saw that thing on the autocross today where me and you were out in the California Speedway. They vote you bring that.
You know what? If it's running, dude, that would be the best. That would be the best road trip ever. Towing that thing out there.
It'd be the most expensive road trip ever.
Here's the thing with the race truck is I want to. So Lars Wolf, did you say he was going to be out there?
No. Earlier yesterday you were talking about all the people racing Nissans, and that's why I brought up Lars.
Yeah. Anyhow, he has what he calls the multi-purpose racer, right? The FPR
Yep.
2.0, right? And he races that in all kinds of different series, road courses, rally, whatnot. And my dream has always been with the race truck is build a race truck and doesn't race in it, but at the same time, do everything fun that you do with cars with the race truck.
Right.
And so if I get to, and that's where the whole autocross thing came about originally. Is I said, you know what, this truck is, it's just this. It's a vehicle for fun.
Sure.
So if fun means taking it out and trying to beat, one of the slowest cars. If I beat one slow car on the track, I win. You know what I'm saying? So if I can take it on a street course, if I can take it on an oval or a drag strip, I will, because that's what I want to do. It's a vehicle of fun and adventure. So, man, that would be so rad. It
would be funny. It would be funny because that truck started its life here in Middle Tennessee anyways, and then you bought it from a guy in Knoxville.
Right.
And then if you guys don't know the trip, Danny, we've got to sit down and do a video about that sometime. Just me and you talking about that adventure in itself.
Yeah, that was a hell of an adventure for sure.
The first time I ever met Danny, he'd bought it. Well, we're gonna save it. We're gonna do a video on that, man, jointly, me and you, and we'll produce it and get it out because that's a great video.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so Danny, I will keep an eye out for something, and that maybe we can. I don't even know Z1's requirements because what they do is rent out the track. My understanding, and so I don't even know requirements on that. If there's a trash hour that that leaves parts everywhere, we can do.
I'll bring my race suit. I'll bring my SA5 rated race suit, helmet, and neck brace.
Right.
So I should be able to do something.
But
third, right?
But it's funny. Z1 was talking about having me and Danny come down for that, and I called Dan, and Dan was like, "Dude, I'm there." yeah. Because Danny, you love racing so much, man.
Oh man, if it's got a motor and a pedal, sign me up.
Right.
Well, that's David. One of the reasons I was so pumped when Z1 reached out, you were able to go over and have a chat with them, spend some time, and you sent a couple emails and whatnot back and forth. I'm really excited because I know Z1 has so much time and experience and whatnot in Nissan racing, and I mean it's all been Z's for the most part, but at the same time they're Nissan guys. They know all that stuff.
Right.
So I'm really excited to be able to kind of pick their brain and get some live action experience from guys that race Nissans, because I have a lot of info from guys that race Toyotas and Ford Rangers and all the other stuff. The Nissan stuff is more of an unknown in the off-road community. Right.
Yeah, well, because you don't really hear about any street racing frontiers,
Exactly.
But we could throw a little nods on your truck. I think you'd be all right.
Don't tempt me, David. That thought has crossed my mind about 10 to 20 times.
I can see you at the Mint 400 on that one little jump where you and Dave Blakely, you got that cool picture y'all jumping. You just give it a little boost of nods and boom.
Just give it a squirt.
So Danny, what are you playing? I mean, you're always adventuring, man. The people want to know about Danny. What do you got coming up?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I'm like literally recovering from what I just did.
Yeah, because you were on the road trip.
Well, yeah. First I did King of the Hammers, and then almost literally a week and a half later, I was out on another 5-day trip, seeing some of the most beautiful southern Utah scenery, Navajo land and stuff.
Right.
Just doing a bunch of off road with a bunch of Toyota and Nissan guys. There's a couple Jeeps in there. It was an amazing event. You'll see some of those videos dropping here pretty soon. But,
nice.
And then I did some live podcasting right outside the fire pit. Basically, did a couple interviews with
Right.
And a couple of the other guys and ladies that were there. So it was an amazing trip. As far as my next adventures, to tell you the truth, I gotta do some family tonight, and I gotta work my race truck.
Right. Yeah, because you were hoping to have that race truck out this year.
Yeah, I was hoping to have it running around and doing testing at this point. And,
right.
And I kind of sold my soul to the adventure devil, if you will, and went on a couple adventures and spent money there instead of spending on the racetrack. So
sure,
I gotta hunker down, and I gotta put some solid weekends in on the truck.
As I tempt you to come out here for June, I've got to hunker down.
Exactly. It's hard to say no when some of these trips pop up and they say, "Hey, you know what? We're doing this," and you're like, "Wow, sounds like an amazing adventure." So
oh yeah. Well,
and
just anytime, like especially when me and you get together, man, it's like fire and ice. You know, I'm the old man that's the ice part, I guess, and you're the fire man. So we amp each other up in some weird ways. And
well, a lot of times you're just more the voice of reason.
Anyways, Dan, so obviously you've got some videos dropping. I know you said you had something for the podcast channel. Dude, I know you've got a day or two of just editing coming up.
I got probably 2 weeks of editing, but I have a really great which should be dropping. Hopefully later this week. I have a full walk around on car Jeep's Frontier that he has built.
Right.
He's got a new suspension on it, cryo-treated stuff.
Yeah, really he went all out on that.
Yeah. So and he was on that road adventure, so I was able to dig into his truck. I got to drive it a little bit, and actually sat in the passenger seat while his wife drove for the first time off road, which was
nice.
Kind of fun. So
nice.
Yeah, we'll have a little another unique builds popping out with car Jeeps Frontier, so that'll be exciting. And then I'm gonna dig into the meat and potatoes, the road trip. That one's gonna take me a while to get edited.
Oh yeah.
So much cool stuff.
Yeah. So do you guys have any questions quickly for Dan, as you can actually hear his voice, or I hope you can hear his voice? They're probably just the 10 to 12 people sitting here just watching the camera going, what is this dude? Who is he talking to?
Right.
He's just rambling to this. I don't know what he's doing. But hopefully you guys got something. If not, once again, we're going to try to get Danny here on the channel to do a live one. And if you haven't yet, go to Danny's YouTube channel, DeGroot X, and show him some love by playing some of his videos. Danny needs some playtime over there. You have a lot of subs, but you just need some playtime.
Yeah, I just need to pump up the hours. I haven't been as consistent as I usually should, so a lot of stuff falls off after a year. So
right,
that's part of the YouTube game that I got to get better at, is being consistent with my videos. But I got a lot of stuff coming out. So
well, you know what
every watch helps.
Hey, what you should do is go have shoulder surgery like I did. It's amazing what that will do to your YouTube game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, it looks like they're kind of quiet with you, Dan.
That's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to pop in and say hi and chat a little bit of Z1 stuff, and so I'll let you get back to it, Dave.
All right, man. Well, it's good talking to you, Danny.
All right, brother.
Later. Bye. All right. So there was Danny. Crap on my desk. So once again, go to Danny's YouTube channel and show him a little bit of love. He if not just a follow or a sub, go literally he needs some watch time. And Danny's has a lot of good videos. We've been putting the classic race truck build stuff on our channel here, but if you want the most recent stuff, it's on his channel. I think we're about 5 episodes behind on where he's at. So if you want to catch up, go to DeGroot X and watch that. Plus, Danny has some cool walkarounds. His Red Dragon, as he calls it, his Frontier. And I know Danny's been talking about new plans for that truck. Like, I think he wants to make it a desert racing truck of some sort. So, man, y'all are quiet tonight. Lots of super chat love, which I do appreciate. You guys trip me out with that, man. Too much love with that, but it's the funding is always needed for future plans. And once again, basically, you like to fly Danny out here, fly me to California so we can do some group time. And I know Nismo, or what do they call this? The one Z1 event we did, or Z event we did out there, was a fun time. And of course, there's Nismo Fiesta in Texas we'd like to cover sometime. Lots of Z stuff we're actually wanting to get into, and just more of the Nissan car stuff. It's not that why you don't see a ton of the content here. It's not that we don't love it. It's just sometimes car guys are a little hard to break through with. So we do have more plans. Like Danny said, he's got a drive of Car Jeep's. I want to say it's a 5 or 6 Frontier that he just redid the whole suspension and a lot of custom stuff. He did a drive around and walk around with that thing. We want to do more of that stuff. We want to come to you and basically film content on your vehicle and what you love about it, talk to you about it, and maybe take it for a test ride and what our impressions are of it. Let's see. New Rogue, same engine as old one. Ronald, I have no idea on Rogue. It's not an SUV I generally track too much. I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen spy photos of it. I will look into that though. I will see what my little birdies will tell me about it. I'm going to say yes. It basically probably has the same motor though, because it's been plenty powerful in that little CUV. Car Jeep does have a nice truck, Cooper. It's and it's been down for quite a while. It's like I think it was down for 2 years when he was planning his custom build on this thing. And if you guys ever get to meet Car Jeep, Daniel Fonseca, I think is how you say his last name. Class act, man. I've never seen a dude between him and Danny. I don't know who's more positive in life. Like they just never have a bad time. Like it could be struck by lightning and they'd find something positive about it. Any other questions? Like I said, you guys have been a little bit quiet tonight. I got about 10 more minutes here that we could chat before you guys really get bored with me. Nissan news. Let me look while I see if you guys have a question. I want to check the Nissan news. I haven't paid a lot of attention to that here lately. Here we go. Let's see what Nissan wants us to talk about today. I'm betting it's a Titan. Let's see. New training center teaches skills to build Nissan Frontier engines. They do have a nice they built a nice training center across from the plant in Smyrna, Tennessee. I will say it's very, very impressive. It doesn't look like they've had a lot to talk about. They're still dealing with the 2020 Frontier. Some students came to check out the plant. Oh, here we go. I have been wanting to talk about this a little bit. So Nissan is launching an on-demand driving where you can basically get into a sort of a rental program where you can have any kind of Nissan you want. I think excluding GTR. I think there's an upcharge on that, but I think it's daily. I know some of these companies were doing weekly where they would switch them out once a week. Let's see. Nissan is launching on-demand driving through its test subscription service called Nissan Switch. The program launches in Houston area and offers a variety of vehicles, including the all-electric Nissan Leaf, Titan pickup, and GTR. Just like other popular subscription services for television music, there is no long-term contract or commitment. So the Nissan Switch is another way that Nissan is testing alternatives to the notion of traditional mobility. So what do you guys think about this? Tesla's been tinkering with it. Subscription services on their cars. They've actually been tinkering with it where you don't even the car will, you request it when you need it and it's not even in your driveway and it just shows up and then you use it how you want. Cadillac's been experimenting with this. I know Mercedes and BMW have been experimenting with it. I think the Nissan one is $600 to $700 a month. I want to say maybe let's see. There are 2 tiers. So there's a $699 a month where you get to choose from Rogue, Altima, Pathfinder, Frontier. There's a premium for $899, which gives you vehicles like Leaf Plus, Maxima, Murano, Armada, Titan, and 370Z. And for $899 a month, with an additional $100 a day with a 7-day consecutive minimum use, you can get the GTR, which is like basically a GTR payment, maybe. I don't know. I guess not. It's probably a lot cheaper than that. But let's see. So there is that to talk about, I guess. And I don't find much excitement in subscription services, but I do believe it's probably the future of car buying of sorts. To the 2020 Frontier, when does it hit dealers? I know it's in production now, Cooper. So let's see. Today is March. I'm going to say the middle of the month is what I'm going to say. middle to late of March. And because they haven't even released pricing on this thing yet. Or any numbers on it. I know Z1 was, they've been bugging Nissan, calling in, trying to say, hey, we need some numbers on this thing. Yeah, of course, what you're getting for $699 a month is you're getting the option to have any of those 4 cars delivered daily, is my understanding. So if you get an Altima one day and the next day you're like, nah, I need a Frontier or the Pathfinder, and they drop them off like no questions asked. They just trade them out. So you are paying for some of that. But yeah, I think the prices, I want to say Cadillac started at like $1,000 a month. So it's cheaper, but I don't know how much. Let's see. I wish our sales were monthly and not quarterly. Speaking of that, what do you guys think? We used to do on the audio side, we used to do once a month of I would talk their sales numbers, and Danny hated it with a passion. He just hated talking sales numbers, but I was always interested that people were curious about it. So for us to track that, it does suck now that everybody's gone to quarterly. They don't want you to see that they've had a bad month. It's a way to hide it a little bit, and they're all doing it now. So thanks, Ford, for starting that. Let's see. So dealers, yeah, I think end of this month, Cooper, for that. The 2020. Has the tow rating changed for the 2020 Frontier due to the new drivetrain? I want to say I took a picture of that. Bear with me. I took a picture of some of the door stuff, if I remember right. And I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of forgot all about that. And I will see. Let's see, there's the Frontier. Did I get the door jamb? I feel like I got a picture of the door jamb. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, I don't think it has any of the towing stuff on it. No. Here's, I don't know if you guys can see this or no, it's going to glare on it. Sorry. Nothing's really changed that I know of. And they didn't say, and I know with the Titan, when they added the 9-speed, I think it changed by 50 pounds. So nothing that I know of has changed. And I expect the 2021 to change a little more, but I wouldn't be looking at an 8,500 pound towing rating or anything. I think it's right at 7K now. So, which isn't bad. Like Danny in his video he dropped showed that the truck's capable of its max towing, and Danny's modified and he's not re-geared on that thing. So yeah, it struggled a little bit because of the gearing and the large tires, but I think for a mid-sized truck, I don't need a mid-sized truck to pull my house. And that is kind of my fuss as I end this tonight. It's kind of my fuss about, I guess, the wars for towing and horsepower within the big three. I forget the GM, 18,000 pounds, something ridiculous, man. There's no way that you need to be towing some of these numbers in a basically a small truck versus what it should be towing at that weight capacity. You should be in a semi or something larger. Nissan takes a lot of grief for not, I think the 1500 is right under 10,000, and then the XD is right at 12,000. Perfectly fine, but you're playing a game now of he said, she said kind of thing, and if the Toyota and their aluminum, or Ford and their aluminum body trucks claim they can tow over 12,000, but yet everybody I know that's honest about it, that's towed with that thing, says they're pushed all over the road. There's no weight to that vehicle anymore. Ronald, any 2021 Frontier news yet? No, we would be the first to talk about it as soon as we can. Do I think that it would diminish retail values? I don't know, Joe. I'm because I don't know how those cars, how long does Nissan keep those in their fleet of cars? 6 months? Do you hold because they're always going to be brand new cars, so I would see 6 to 8 months on any body, depending on mileage. Oh, excuse me. Hurry. Oh, okay. And lots of booze. Uh-oh. She's empty. But no, I jury's out on that. I wouldn't think so, because it's the same as the way rental does now. They all go to the market after a year anyways. Let's see. It's interesting to hear you see sales, particularly if you could embed on the screen. Yeah, I will say this. So part of funding that we're trying to do with the podcast and stuff is to get better equipment. I'm basically on an Apple laptop now. I used to have a standalone that died on me. And I don't know. That's part of the reason why we push funding a little bit is some of that. Some new equipment for that. We are going to do the plan is to, when me and Danny do podcasting together, we're going to stream it on YouTube. And some of it's just, I'm technical savvy to a point. And after that, I need, it's just slow going, and how much time I get to spend here doing this versus, family, researching things I want to talk about, and just living. So, but no, the plan is to eventually split screen me and Danny. You can see us talk, wipe our ass. I don't know, whatever you want to see us do. While we're podcasting, let's see. Do I think Nissan is going to chase Jeep and Chevy for numbers over 7,000? Are you talking about sales or vehicle sales wise over 7,000 truck sales? No, I mean, I think Nissan would like to sell 100,000 of them a year or more. They would like to compete with Toyota, and the truck that I've seen, I think it compete with it. The only thing Nissan has is a tarnished brand right now, and it's no fault of the actual brand. It's just the leader that ran it into the ground. I guess he would be part of the brand, but just bad philosophy on car sales. But no, I think, the Xterra, when it popped out, man, they sold 83,000 or 88,000 its first year. Freaked them out. They did not expect to sell that many Xterras. And in my opinion, if they'd have left the Gen 1 alone for another year or so and then brought out the Gen 2, I think it would only help Xterra sales. I think the American way is to bloat everything. And I love all Xterras. Basically, I like all Nissans, basically. But if you look at the cars right now, look at everything's pushing up a tier. So you got Versa, which is basically playing in the old Sentra category. Sentra is now pushing into where Altima was. Altima is basically pushing no need for Maxima. So even in the trucks, it's sort of that way in SUVs. So you had Juke, which was pushed out by a lower model of Kicks. Rogue Sport is in between that. Juke kind of had a hand in pushing Juke out. Rogue is, the new one's going to get slightly bigger. It's just the way they do it. And I think ultimately that's kind of a bummer for, like, the old hard bodies were amazing vehicles. You get 24 miles a gallon in that little thing. But the problem is us fat Americans want bigger and bigger, right? More power. Let's see. Yes, Weekend Warriors trying to tow goosenecks because of those tow ratings. Yes, it's scary. It's scary out there. People believe these numbers, and Ford right now is they're in a lawsuit because they've lied about Ranger's miles per gallon, like severely. The truck ain't been out a year and they've already been busted with this. I know it gets pretty good mileage, but it's not getting what they said it would. Not even close. Smitty's Garage. I guess we're gonna have to 6-speed swap new Frontiers now. Probably so, man. Automatics, like it or not, the sales for trucks, and this is including Toyota, for a 6-speed manual transmission for a truck is so small anymore that it's, there's research and development in that to bring a new transmission out, which isn't cheap. I know it's starting at $1 billion to develop a car. So what part of that billion is the transmission? I don't know, man. Even though I love it, me and Spencer at Z1 talked about this yesterday or Friday, that I'm a manual guy. He's a manual guy for a sports car. I think paddle shifting sadly is the way of the future, and maybe a double clutch Z on the way. That would be really fun. Let's see. Danny says he sat in a brand new Tacoma with sunroof on the road trip. His head hit the roof. There was no up or down tilt on the seats. He was totally unimpressed. The I like the Tacoma. I think it's a good looking truck. But if you ever look at all the old imports, they were for shorter people. I'm happy about it because I'm a shorter person. So the way they sit, I think had a lot of Asian influence in the seat design. And so I think that's part of it. Toyota, if you ever notice too, the Toyotas always look like they're higher. And the way you see a lot of the frame, and I think some of that is cab size, the way they design to make the truck look taller than it is. And it unfortunately affects all they care about is sales, right? They don't care after the sale. Let's see. Ranger is kind of leftover Euro trash, but guess what? I've got a video coming on it. So's the Rogue Sport. So's the Kicks. Nissan is full of just rebadged turds that we get in the States. So every one of them do it, and it's because it's so expensive anymore. Let's see. Danny says his Tacoma was $42K, and he didn't even get auto seats. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Price a Gladiator, guys. Which I like the Gladiator, man. I had plans, honestly, to maybe pick one up, and I just can't justify $55,000 to $60,000 for a mid-sized truck that can't do anything. And even though the idea of the doors and tops coming off of that, I don't know. Which brings us into Bronco. What do you guys? You're excited for Bronco? Do you think usually when Ford does something, it pushes the other brands to kind of follow along? What if Nissan came out with a little 2-door, 4-door Xterra or called it a Patrol? I know Nissan corporate here in America wants to use the Patrol name any way they can. So, and maybe with all the heritage talk, that would be awesome. Toyota guy here as well, but Tacomas will never win you over. What do I think about Infiniti going electric? I'm not sold on all these brands wanting to do electric. Audi really pushed that I think by 2022 they're supposed to be all electric vehicles, and the tech is not there yet, guys. I know they all want to be first to it now, so it's a race to be first. We've got to be first. We've got to, just like Nissan was with the Leaf. They'd been working on that, and Tesla kind of beat them to the punch, but Nissan made an affordable electric. The Infiniti wouldn't even roll out of the car show last year, so they had so many problems with that turd. Danny, you're coming around on the Gladiator? What? Yeah, but our RT for life, you know why it's a carbon copy. It was cheap to do that way, and you're already dealing with they only sold 40,000 of that thing last year, which Nissan, the Frontier outsold that thing. And now, granted, it didn't pop out till late spring. And will they sell? I don't look I haven't kept up with numbers so far this year on Jeep, but does it hit 40,000 this year? Because there's always those those guys that got to be first on YouTube and all that go run out and buy them, and your neighbor that's got to be first to have those things. So I don't know. Can't drive an electric vehicle 24 or 22 hours. It's not Rivian, but there was another wannabe electric company that's claiming they're going to get 500 miles out of their truck with the ability to charge it fully in 15 minutes. But instead of going from a 240 outlet, I forget, it was like a 1.5 megawatt. The ratings to charge it were ridiculous. And then how do you keep the batteries cool? I don't know, man. I'm not sold. The only thing I know, I believe Toyota is working on a hydrogen electric car. Which I can see that you can fill up with the hydrogen, and then it gives the battery time. So if you're in a hurry, you can do that. You still got a little bit of life. All these cars are working off generators now, trying to work to recharge the batteries anyway. So anything on the 2021 Armada Pro 4X possibility? Yes, there is a Pro 4X possibility. So one of my insiders, and I haven't talked to him in a few months about this, but Nissan has plans, or they're in talks of speculating that they're going to bring the Pro 4X across the board for their SUVs with obviously not Road, but with Armada, Titan, and Frontier, and maybe a mid-size SUV if they come back to that, which I'm not sold on that they're not going to sneak something in there. but yeah, there's talks of that. But there was also talks, once again, that they want to call that an actual patrol. I would, but there's a certain segment of buyer that knows the Armada now, and they sell a lot to that segment. So they're kind of torn on that. Let's see. Yes. They are working on a hydrogen fuel cell. Yes, Danny does hate Jeeps with a passion. Let's see. Marty, let's see. I wish Jeep made the bed look better on the Gladiators. It just looks like an afterthought. It does. And I put it on Truck Life. If you guys aren't yet, go subscribe to Truck Life Podcast here on YouTube. There's no content yet, but please just subscribe. And we on our Instagram, Truck Life Podcast on Instagram, I posted what Jeep should have done. The concept they did a couple years ago where it was a 2-door with a bigger bed, perfect. Would have sold. But I don't know. I'm not necessarily a Jeep hater like Danny is either. Pathfinder with a solid rear axle. I think we both know that's not going to happen, Danny. But I was told that the next Pathfinder is supposed to compete. I won't say compete, but supposed to be more in line with the Range Rover for whatever that's worth. I don't know exactly what that means, but Pathfinder Pro 4X, yeah, all independent suspension Pro 4X. That'd be awesome. But you know, the Patrol gets lockers, and they won't. I don't know why they don't bring that here. So it's not like it would cost them anything more. But have you guys seen the new Patrol? As I wind this down, it's an hour and 6 minutes. I'm starting to lose my voice. I love the current Patrol Armada, but I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of the new front end on that thing at all. If you look at the European or the Saudi version and the Australian version Patrol, you can see it's almost kind of like the Titan headlights a little bit. I don't know, man. I'm not sold on the Titan headlights either, though. I've said it many times, though, that the outside of the Titan didn't sell me on that truck. It was the inside of it, because it was one of the nicest vehicles I've ever sat in. And I don't care what people say about, the plastic. Guys, I was at the Chicago Auto Show, and I documented it. I don't think I put it in a video. I might have put it in a video. But F-250s, $70,000 F-250s, plastic everywhere, and a tiny-ass 4-inch screen in a $70,000 truck. And people want to fuss at Nissan about, the screen's too small. The screen's too small. You're talking about a $50,000 truck, $20,000 less, and it's got a larger screen than Ford puts in some of their high-end vehicles. Trips me out, man. Ford gets away with in their Rangers. They get away with it. A 4-inch or whatever it is screen, a tiny screen. And the Frontier, who's outdated, has had the 6.5-inch screen or 7-inch screen. It's had it forever, and it's just Nissan's the kind of the punching bag, and it's easy to do it, but nobody will bring it up. So that's stuff we want to kind of bring up on the Truck Life Podcast, by the way, too, is obviously we're Nissan fanboys, but I just want to call BS on all the trucks. And I want to point out the cool things about all the trucks and the SUVs. But anyways, let's see if there's any couple more questions here. You outran a ZR2 with your Armada. Dude, the 5.6 liter is an amazing motor, man. I love that motor. And Z1's already modified, or they've tuned a few of them, and they get a lot of horsepower of that motor. Like the Pathfinder. I haven't seen the headlights of it yet, though. But it's basically the same underpinning. It is getting a real 9-speed transmission, though. Those headlights are so much better. I'm just not a fan of it, guys. But anyways, let's see. Smitty's Garage. Don't know the new Armada / Patrols have an R180 front diffs. I don't know what they're putting in the Patrols or Armadas. I know the previous Armada had the same front diff, as the Titan. But that's one thing I've never spent. I like the current one, but I've never spent any time kind of looking under it and really going to full detail about it, just because I don't know, our audience for Armadas is pretty slim. Even though I about bought, that was part of the plan too, and I said it a long time ago, is I was going to put an Armada out in the driveway and lift it and have fun with it. But anyways, let's see. Yes, I agree, Joe. A vehicle for the size of a Pathfinder should not have a CVT transmission in it. And it's my understanding what the little birdies that's told me is it's going to get the 9-speed, which might actually make that a fun family vehicle with a real transmission. But there was rumors going around, and I've reported many times that all I can't say Versa, but a lot of the cars and trucks were going to go back to real transmissions. CVT, as I wind this down, I know I said it a minute ago, CVTs is what's really tarnished the brand's reputation. Obviously Nissan builds their own transmissions with Jocko, but I don't know why they've been so hard-headed to stick with it for so long. It's just like banging your head against the wall and just hoping that that eventually you break through your house or something. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing to me that they keep going down that path. Yeah, built in Mexico. I know they built some in Japan too. It's one of those things. It's a penny pushing thing. It's Ghosn's philosophy of cut. Never improve. Just keep cutting costs. So, anyways, all right, guys. So this has been an hour 12 minutes. I'm out of booze. Let's see. The new Rogue going to have a CVT or 9-speed transmission. I do not know on that just yet, Ronald. I'm going to say that it's probably still going to have a CVT for now. I don't know anything about it. I don't know why they'd need a 9-speed in it. Put the 7-speed in it. I had zero issues with the 7-speed transmission in the Titan. I don't know why. I mean, I like the 9-speed, but I don't know why people jumped to like, oh, it's got to have the 9. I guess once again, Ford and GM developed that 10-speed, and so after that, everybody's got to have 30 speeds. Even though Ram's an 8-speed. So hey, Nissan will have one more speed, right? That'll be cool. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging in here for so long. These things do help our watch hours, so it's part of the fun. Part of the fun is just you guys interacting with us. So if you have questions, email us, man, at nissannationpodcast@gmail.com. Any concerns you ever have with the podcast, email us, man. If you like what we do or you want to see us kind of go in a direction, please feel free to kind of, we're not know-it-alls and think that we know how to guide the ship always. Let's see. Spy shots of the new Pathfinder actually in 2021 Frontier, maybe 2021 Frontier. I know test mules are out on that truck, so you should actually start seeing some Frontiers rolling around. Anyways, guys, I appreciate all the super chats, Ronald. Dude, packages. If I promise you stickers, I went through this weekend and packaged up a bunch of stuff that'll go out hopefully tomorrow. Ronald, you got a shirt and a bunch of fun stuff coming, dude. Thank you for your Patreon support. Once again, there's links on Nissan Nation podcast.com or if you're lazy, nissanpodcast.com. There's ways to support us that way, or just these things are amazing supports, man. So we really appreciate this. I appreciate Danny stopping in and chatting. And from all things Nissan here in my office, Podcast Central, to wherever you're watching us around the globe, this has been Live Sundays with Dave. And I guess that's it, guys. Peace, everybody. Love you guys. Thank you for watching and the support.